It's time for the business news now with Nicholas Poynton, who is in our Wellington studio. Well, does this deserve a drum roll, Nicholas? We've found the equivalent of a chook with teeth and it's on the share market. What have you got for us?
Yeah, it is indeed. We've had, our first new listing on the NZX in well over a year, and it comes from the medicinal cannabis company Rua Bioscience. And instead of the traditional ringing of the bell that we're sort of accustomed to when a new company lists, that happens at the NZX on Queen Street, well, the company's co-founder, they decided instead to blow a conch shell at the Ui Pohatu Marae there in Ruatoria, and it was a really lively start for the company. It debuted on the market at 70 cents per share. That's up about 40% on its initial share price of 50 cents per share. And it comes after a really successful initial public offering which raised about $20 million, about $5 million of which was set aside for local investors. And local investors with this company, that's really part of its story. One person RNZ spoke to, they said they were investing in this company because if it succeeds, the local community succeeds as well. They say it would help entice people to stay in the region. And in that regard, they say that investing in Rua Bioscience was a social investment. So in terms of what's next for this company, well, it's all about getting their products into its first market, which is in Germany. They hope to achieve that by towards the end of halfway through next year, towards the end of around June, July, August. And until then, it's got to grow its commercial crop and finalise getting its good manufacturing practice certificate. So this is just a really bright story for a New Zealand company listing on the NZX. We absolutely hope to hear more from them in the future. And it closed trading today at 68 cents per share.
Nicholas, this next story is going to sink the hopes and dreams of anybody who likes to travel overseas. So Auckland International Airport taking a more pessimistic view on the recovery for travel. What can you tell us?
Yeah, taking a lot more pessimistic, more of a conservative view, and this is some interesting noise to come out of the airport's annual general meeting earlier today. It told shareholders that it's taking a more cautious approach than the International Air Travel Association, which has picked recovery and global air travel to take about 3 years. However, the airport, they think it's going to take a bit longer, but there is maybe a bit of a bright spot for people here. It does expect domestic travel as well as services to Australia and the Pacific. They reckon that might be back to normal within about 2 years. The company has talked about the fact that this has been one of the biggest challenges in its 54-year history. They mentioned the fact that this is going to be the first year in 22 years that it hasn't paid a dividend. It's gone from having about 30,000 people coming through its airport today to mere hundreds, and on some days no one at all. It's really talked up the fact, reminded shareholders that it's tried to do the best. It's been prudent with its spending. It's suspended spending on those big capital projects like the extension of its main terminal, as well as having to cut about 260 jobs. In the meantime, in terms of its infrastructure development, the airport says it's going to work on building and fixing roads, maintenance work on the airfield, as well as its baggage system. So look, this is a company by all accounts that is one of the most exposed to COVID-19. It's saying that the road ahead is very rocky, but they believe that on its current pace, it's on track to sort of see themselves through this economic shock brought on by the pandemic.
Okay, let's do a quick whip around the other numbers from today.
Yeah, so the NZX Top 50, it's down by about 25 points to 12,407. Our dollar, it's trading at 66.4 US cents, 93.7 Australian, 50.6 British pence. And gold is up about $10 to 1,913 US dollars an ounce.
Thanks, Nicholas. Nicholas Poynton with our business news, joining us from our Wellington studio live.